Anthology on the bad, short-lived, and forgotten shows and events in TV history. You are listening to It Was a Thing on TV.
Trust me, I know what I'm doing.
Episode 554, submission number 2569.
Nice.
Yeah, I said it nice.
You know what? There's nothing going to be nice about this pilot. Let's just get this out of the way. There's nothing nice about it. Neither me or Mike wanted to watch this, so we had to have Chico watch it. He had to take one for the team.
I did see like the first 4 minutes. I checked out at the opening credits. It was that stupid.
I actually took 2 for the team. I watched it once to get a feel of it. Then I had to watch once for the notes. Anyway, the show is In the Lion's Den. In the Lion's Den was a pilot that aired as a part of CBS's Summer Playhouse series on September 7th, 1987.
Oh, so that means that it was part of the series with Tim and Daphne Maxwell Reid, right?
On the set of Frank's Place, yes.
I was going to say this is definitely not some sort of precursor to Dragon's Den, which we know as Shark Tank around here. Oh, no. That would be a lot better than what, well, Chico saw and Greg may have tried to see and I saw for 4 minutes, but you'll get why this is so painful in a little bit.
And I should also note, this is not the Rob Lowe series from NBC in the 2000s, The Lion's Den.
And much like Shell Game, neither one of us will cop to putting it on our pilot month schedule.
No, I put it on the pilot month
Oh,
schedule.
you did?
Oh, it's your fault.
It is my fault. And I only did it for Marcia Gay Harden. That was the only reason I put it on.
Oh, Marcia Gay Harden.
Hey, she did better.
Oh, we'll get to that momentarily, but first, here's the theme music.
Fucking hours later.
8 fucking hours later.
I may keep that in. That's very appropriate.
It's our favorite time of the year, y'all. Who wants to watch pilots?
It's not the favorite time of the year. Greg's Money in the Bank isn't for another 3 weeks or so.
Yeah, we're not going to be talking about every guest star at Hotel yet.
I mean, generally our favorite time of the year.
Oh, that does remind me. I need to send an invitation to Aaron. I need to tell him, hey, get your schedule ready in about 3 weeks. We want you to come to this episode. It'll be the 3 of us, but we need all the manpower on deck that we can get.
Yeah, we need his opinion on every guest star on Hotel.
Okay, so it's pilot month and
every guest star on Hotel. And a special day that's coming up next week.
No, I'm talking about the big month that Chico, the best time of the year. It's pilot month. With all due respect to Greg's Money in the Bank, with all due respect to everybody else's Money in the Bank, with all due respect to when we cover hometown commercials, this is like...
This is our Super Bowl.
Sure, if you think so.
Kinda, sorta. But yeah, all through this month and into next, we're talking about all of the stuff that was close to but did not become things on TV. And what is a pilot month without a visit to our good friends at the CBS Summer Playhouse?
Yeah, I'm very happy to see Tim and Daphne Maxwell Reid again. And also, we have another excuse to play the John Barber clip. So let's play it.
Now, Shotty LaRue from my son's favorite show on CBS, which was just picked up again, Frank's Place.
It's my friend Shotty LaRue from my son's favorite show, Frank's Place. Which got renewed. No, it didn't get renewed, John.
Oh, and Chico, I don't mean to interrogate you, but were you the person today on WLTI who posted about John Barber's 92nd birthday this weekend?
That was me!
I knew it. I saw that, and I almost posted, Chico, who let you control this?
By the way, Game Show Newsnet on all social media. Thanks for visiting. Anyway, CBS Summer Playhouse. You know, Tim and Daphne Reid hosting a collection of shows that gives you a number to call at the end to gauge viewer interest on TV shows that, let's be honest, already had their fate sealed. It was farming engagement before engagement farms were a thing. And this time, we are delving into the world of public television. By the way, please support public television.
Talking to you, Congress and Senate.
There have been a handful of successful series about television. The Dick Van Dyke Show and The Morning Show come to mind. This show, from the mind of Dan Wilcox, who wrote such fare as Newhart, MASH, FM, and previous installment Eisenhower and Lutz, not one of them. Also, the legendary producer James Burrows was involved, so something to take into account there. This is the story of a man with the patience of a prima donna, a classically trained actor who is reduced to perform puppetry for a public television station, and the associate producer charged with the unenviable task of keeping his ego and/or his baser instincts in check.
So wait, this is about puppetry. Where was Scorch for this?
You know what? I don't know. But I bet you something. If they had Scorch on this, 6 seasons in a movie.
No, Scorch would not lower himself to be on this Drek.
Have you seen this Drek? He would fit right in.
He would probably give everyone the dragon flu.
How does a lion have the dragon flu?
I don't know.
That's some wacky interspecies illnesses you're getting into there. I don't think that's going to work too well.
Who do we have playing in the Lion's Den? Let's find out, shall we? We have Dana Woodrow, the new associate producer of Maynard's Den. It is a kids show that is educational in nature, featuring a lot of puppets, and it tapes out of the fictional KPLP San Antonio.
Yeah, because when I think of public television, guys, you know what I think of? San Antonio. I'm sorry, what would San Antonio be known for in 1987? They had George Gervin. That's probably about it.
No, they drafted David Robinson in 1987.
But remember, he served 2 years in the Navy.
You're right, but still, they drafted him in 87. You mentioned George Gervin. Man, oh man, I think you're right. What else did they have? Maybe there was somebody on the San Antonio Stars or whatever their minor league baseball team was in 1987, if they had one.
You know, they didn't have the Alamo Dome yet, so it's like, what reason would you have to go to San Antonio?
To visit the basement at the Alamo, I think.
Silly, there's no basement in the Alamo. Jan Hooks told me that.
Okay, how about the Riverwalk? I mean, that's one of the beautiful areas of San Antonio.
Hold on, wasn't San Antonio a filming location in Cloak and Dagger?
I don't
I want
know.
to say it was. Give me a second here.
While you do that, I have the roster of the 1987 San Antonio Dodgers, Double A team. Their records sucked that year, just saying, 50-86. But listen to some of these names, Greg. Mike Devereaux,
Yeah?
Danny Heap.
Danny Heap was in Double A in 1987 after being with the Mets in 86?
I don't know if it was rehab or what it may have been, but he played 11 games, 47 at bats.
Man, he really fell off the face of the earth after 86.
Wayne Kirby was there. I'm
Oh.
sorry. Cleveland Indians legend Wayne Kirby, if you ask my cousin.
Former Mets coach Wayne Kirby.
Yeah. Let's see here. There's a couple of other people who made the majors, but nobody really of note. Craig Shipley, I think, is one of those kind of sort of names. He played a
Okay.
while for like San Diego. But let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12 people on this team made the majors in some capacity. I think Mike Devereaux by far is the most popular. Maybe Wayne Kirby is right up there, but yeah, nobody's clamoring to talk about like Mike Huff and some of these other people. Mike Hartley. So what else is there in San Antonio besides the Riverwalk and Mike Devereaux and the prospects of David Robinson in 2 years?
The Alamo, the Riverwalk, and where Henry, Thomas, and Dabney Coleman ran from the feds in Cloak and Dagger.
I knew it was in San Antonio they filmed it in.
That was also 1984. We're talking 1987.
Okay, but maybe there were some big Cloak and Dagger fans in 1987 that wanted to tour the filming locations.
No, my parents wouldn't let me go to San Antonio in 1987. There's got to be other fans of that movie besides me.
I'm a fan of that movie.
I'm a fan of the movie, and true story, when I was a kid growing up, I honestly thought that the movie was related to the comic book of the same name.
Yeah, that would have been the first technical Marvel movie if that was the case. You notice we'd rather talk about anything else than this show.
What we're not talking about is the lady who played the producer that I described 5 or so non sequiturs ago. Dana Woodrow, played by Wendy Crewson, who's been in Saving Hope. She was on episodes of Tracker with Justin Hartley. And she's also played Laura, Scott Calvin's ex-wife, in the Santa Claus movies.
Yes! Now, you know, guys, I don't know if you know this, but the Santa Claus, that's my Christmas movie wings.
Oh, jeez! It made Dudley Moore's career?
No,
No.
that's Tim Allen.
Oh, I thought you said Santa Claus, the movie from
I said
1985.
the Santa Claus, C-L-U-S-E, the Disney movie.
David Krumholtz as an elf.
Okay, maybe it made Tim Allen's career. I'll give you that. But my point still stands. Santa Claus, the movie, made Dudley Moore's career. End of story.
No, it made John Lithgow's career.
Damn it! I thought Third Rock from the Sun did that.
Keith Warfield is the voice and left hand of Maynard the Lion. He's played by Dennis Boutsikaris, who has been in episodes of Better Call Saul, Quantico, and nowadays Mayfair Witches. The whole station is overseen by fundraiser Newton Gorse, who's played by Fred Applegate, who is in previous entry Sarah, and also the boss in season 4 of 9 to 5.
Season 4 of 9 to 5?
9 to 5 started on ABC, right?
Yes.
It ran 2 seasons on ABC. And then it sort of had a we got it made moment where it ran 3 seasons in syndication.
Ah.
Okie dokie. A couple other credits I want to add for him. We did talk about him not long ago. He was not on the show that we talked about in that episode, Eisenhower and Lutz, but he was on that sort of quasi spin-off extension FM, which Chico only mentioned like 3 times in that episode. But also, and this has to be most, I don't think it's all the episodes, but he played Jack Connors on Whoops.
Oh, Lord.
Whoops.
A show we don't talk about anywhere near enough around these parts.
Man, if you thought the miniseries Threads was hilarious, wait till you see Whoops.
And it does appear that 11 episodes is the entire run. He was the lead on Whoops. What the heck? Boy, that's one that you may not want to put on your resume. Was the lead star of Whoops.
That's how I knew it was time for me to go to bed in 1992, when Herman's Head ended and Whoops began.
Yeah, because when Herman's Head went off the air, there was no more Yardley Smith.
Neurotic writer Stan Timmerman is played by Brian Backer, who is best known for playing Mark Ratner in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and a character named Arnie in the best of the Police Academy movies, Police Academy 4, Citizens on Patrol.
That's right. That's the only Police Academy movie that matters because it had Tony Hawk in it, and David Spade, and Sharon Stone.
Secretary Kim is played by Marcia Gay Harden in one of her earlier roles. Since then, she's been in, well, let's just say she's been in a lot. Most recently on CBS's So Help Me Todd, Apple TV's The Morning Show, and as Mrs. Grey in all 3 of the 50 Shades of Grey movies.
All 50 Shades of Grey movies. Oh.
The right hand of Maynard, Forrest, is played by Brad Greenquist, best known as Victor, the proprietor of the pet cemetery in the 1989 horror flick of the same name.
What would that be, Chico?
Pet cemetery, I just said that.
Well, there might be somebody who's confused and does not know what you meant by that.
Yes, the 1989 movie Victor. Got it. In quote-unquote guest roles are Jack Blessing as Jerry from George Lopez and Joshua Grenrock as a stage manager from previous entry, The Waverly Wonders.
Now, hold on, Chico. When you said Joshua, I was worried about, oh no, is there a crossover of Knots Landing and Alec Baldwin's going to show up as Joshua Rush?
Oh yeah, you've reached the Alec Baldwin seasons of Knots Landing, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
Joshua Rush, that son of a bitch pastor who ends up sleeping with more people than Donna Mills.
Yeah, who would have thought that Alec Baldwin would be the man whore of Knots Landing? You know what? I'm just going to call Joshua Rush by his proper name, the Black Lodge version of Jack Donaghy.
Wait, I can't justify my answer as to why Alec Baldwin was a whore on Knots Landing. My sister absolutely loved Alec Baldwin. Oh gosh, how far back? Before 30 Rock, obviously after Beetlejuice, but I think also after like Glengarry Glen Ross. But my sister absolutely just thought Alec Baldwin was the sexiest man ever to live, and Alec Baldwin would have been probably like 45 at the time and would have been like 25 years older than my sister at the time.
Well, you know what? Good for your sister then.
If she only knew what would happen to Alec Baldwin like around 2022, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But he is the boss baby.
Our story begins at the soundstage of Maynard's Den in fictional studios of KPLP San Antonio, where for the, twice a week, every week for 6 years, 624th time, Keith Warfield, the voice and left hand of Maynard the Lion, is quitting show business. It's up to Jerry, the 1 foot out the door associate producer, to talk him off the ledge, so to speak. No sooner than that happens than Dana Woodrow arrives, having been fired from her last gig, a game show in New York called Target Practice, when she stole the host's toupee and stuffed it in a victory siren.
Target Practice, you say? I thought Alec Baldwin hosted that. Hey, how many Alec Baldwin references can we get in this week?
Dana's left her boyfriend, her family, and the entire life in New York behind to replace Jerry, who quit outright and is about to send Keith out the building when he glances at Dana and looks at the opportunity to use his puppet to cop a feel. I wish I was joking. I'm not.
Oh.
Did the lion bite her on the tuchus?
No, but he did get a good long look at her legs.
Well, that's not cop a feel. That's, cop a view.
Well, he reaches... Okay, here's his shtick. When he's performing as the puppet and he sees an attractive woman, he, as Maynard, asks for a hug. And while she's hugging the lion, his left hand is, well...
We get it. You can get away with that in 1987. Well, maybe not get away with it 100%, but it was quite a bit more acceptable in 1987, which is still to say is creepy as heck.
Helping Dana get a lay of the land at her office in the prop room is Kim, Keith's assistant, with a really deep Texas drawl that I can only assume Marcia Gay Harden is affecting. She says that she's really good at letting guys down easy. Also on hand to help Dana is writer Stan Timmerman and fundraiser Newton Gorse, who insists upon Dana staying in his spare house. Think Jimmy James from News Radio, only less charming. Newton insists upon Dana staying in his spare house that he got on foreclosure for $500 a month. That's a lease. Everyone naturally suggests she take the apartment. She's thinking, because when you're in broadcast, there's a rule, don't buy rent.
Wait, don't buy what?
Don't buy rent.
Don't buy rent.
Why are you discouraging Crystal Bernard from buying tickets to Rent?
I want to see Rent.
No, it's like, don't buy a house, rent an apartment.
Oh, that's bullshit. I'm sorry. I'm saying this as a financial literacy teacher. Buy the house. Seriously? You build up equity. If I lived in an apartment for 16 years instead of the house I live in, when you move, you get absolutely diddly squat back. Here at the house, it's paid off. So when I pass or move or whatever, I can sell the house. And after commissions and whatnot, I get a nice payday. So screw that renting. Buy. Buy, 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 buy.
Bye, bye, bye. Bye, bye, bye.
Two things. One, Crystal Bernard's Texas drawl is a lot more believable than Marcia Gay Harden's, despite Marcia Gay Harden living in Texas for a while. And two, Newton's spare house looks like... Remember that scene on the Fresh Prince Thanksgiving episode where Will and Uncle Phil are getting a reputable massage?
Oh, let's just say in that episode, had a lot in common with Robert Kraft.
I thought you were going to say Deshaun Watson.
By the way, as we record this, the NFL draft is going on, and Gretchen is moving into round 3 undrafted. Wink, wink, not nudge, nudge.
And if that happens, we'll be sure to give this is CNN breaking news if he gets drafted. But let's be quite honest, it'd be very hilarious if Shedeur Sanders went undrafted and got signed by the St. Louis Battlehawks.
That is funny, but also cruel.
Is it though?
Yeah, because I want to see Deion Sanders like trying to manhandle the St. Louis Battlehawks.
I'm still thinking about Marcia Gay Harden's Texas drawl. It's just one step above Jade Wickline, to be honest.
Oh, jeez! And that was this week's dig at Jane Wickline.
Because she can't act for crap.
So Dana begs Jerry to take his job back, but he already got a job in Hollywood, working for Steven Spielberg, and Dana is also begging to get out of her lease with Newton. But after looking at the contract carefully, she has some good news. She finds out that she actually owns the house, and Newton is the lessor. So we go into the next day shooting a scene, and for the 625th time in his career since taking the role of Maynard the Lion, Keith quits. But if he thinks that Dana is going to be like Jerry and pull him down from the ledge, he's got another thing coming. She is not here for Keith's nonsense, and is not above telling him as such, which gets him emotional about Jerry, whose goodbye party we head to, but Keith does not. Dana only stays long enough to say goodbye to Stan when she finds the present that Keith left Jerry. Every Beatles record ever made. Something he and Jerry would listen to after Keith's brother died. This was 15 minutes into the episode, and it went hard as hell. So Dana, having heard all of this, reconsiders leaving after telling Keith about this, and, well, turns into the beginning of a beautiful working relationship. Another thing we learn about Keith is he has an aversion to the word home. Of course, neither this nor the relationship is ever expounded on because CBS never ordered the show to series. And I have thoughts, but I'm going to save mine until Mike has had his say.
I told you, I dropped out at the opening credits, which was about 4 minutes in. I was like not buying the whole thing, especially with the after X number of years, he just like up and quits and really doesn't give any sort of like valid reason. It was not good. And the thing is, if it's not good to start, how are you going to have any sort of retention after that title sequence? You're not. And also, I think, as you mentioned earlier, or maybe at least alluded to, CBS Summer Playhouse was just a dumping ground for all the pilots that weren't picked up by CBS over the last year or so. There was no chance it was going to be picked up.
I remember the first episode of the Summer Playhouse. It overwhelmingly got a yes vote, but it was never picked up for a series. So that's why I'm like, CBS Summer Playhouse, farming engagement before engagement farms were a thing.
Wait a second. You're telling me that it got such an overwhelmingly positive review? Why didn't CBS pick up the Shadi LaRue files? He was on the New Liars Club, and John Barber, for heaven's sakes, didn't even introduce him. It was just his son's favorite character on his son's favorite show, Frank's Place. You heard it earlier.
I can see where people would have a problem with this because Keith's character, it reads a lot like Eisenhower and Lutz, but not as charming. Think Scott Bakula with no redeeming qualities whatsoever.
Not that Scott Bakula had many redeeming qualities on Eisenhower and Lutz, mind you.
Yeah, but he had his father there to kind of sort of put him in check. His father and his secretary and at least one paramour. Off the top of my head, I don't remember which one, but at least one. Had everything just kind of there, you know? They had the main character, the comic foil, the ensemble of crazies, but it was just a mess. I actually have the ratings for In the Lion's Den. I don't know where this ranks in reference to everything else. On September 4th, 1987, it was actually paired off with another installment of the Summer Playhouse because it was an hour-long show. It needed 2 half-hour sitcoms to fill that hour. In the second half hour, it scored a 7.8 rating at a 17 share. If you're curious, the highest rated of season 1 of the Summer Playhouse, we covered that a couple years ago with Kung Fu: The Next Generation. If you're curious, you can go on YouTube and watch the entire pilot for yourself. Give it your own time, draw your own conclusion. But I'm telling you, Keith was basically a jerk. You know how Bud Lutz from Eisenhower and Lutz, since we're bringing it up so much, was a jerk with a heart of gold? Keith was a jerk with a heart of jerk. He throws tantrums. He's abusive to his coworkers. He almost cops a feel to Marcia Gay Harden's character. I think we were all better off having never seen this pilot. Don't worry too much about Wendy Crewson or Marcia Gay Harden or anybody in this cast because they all went on to fruitful careers, leaving this thing in the rear window. In the Lion's Den, the behind-the-scenes life of a public television children's show was taken out of the public, and it almost became a thing on TV. We still have some time to kill, this being a one-episode wonder and all.
Oh, yes, it's the return of a segment we haven't done in a very long time.
Very long time.
It's the return of It Was a Thing on TV, Haiku Corner.
Before the show, I asked Microsoft Copilot to write a haiku about a puppet lion. Golden mane sways light, bound by strings, yet fierce at heart. Dreams roar in silence.
I think that's Greg doing the finger snaps because sure as hell isn't me.
No, I don't snap my fingers.
Oh, so Chico's actually snapping for himself? That's lame.
Yes, it is.
Have you no pride?
I think we all know the answer to that question, Mike.
Okay, I'm surprised you didn't say, ha, that's a pun. Pride, lion, ha, ha, ha. I'm sorry, that's my Brad Garrett there. Ho, 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 ho. That's Brad Garrett doing Herman Munster. Ho, 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 ho. That was another thing that my sister did really well. She did a great impersonation of Brad Garrett. Don't ask, Greg.
Now remember, Mike, he has a bad short-term memory, so you got to remember this, Mike.
You can find us at our website, itwasathingontv.com, on Facebook at It Was a Thing on TV Podcast, and elsewhere at It Was a Thing on TV. You can find us on any podcast player, and we're also on YouTube, where you can subscribe to our channel to keep up to date with our releases, including what's coming up next time.
We got a certain day coming up in May, somewhere between May 3rd and May 5th, and it may have something to be with us on that day. So we figured with this thing, what happens after they have this thing that had 3 movies and they decide, you know what? Let's take 2 things that people love from these things and give them their own cartoons on Saturday morning. The kids will just eat it up.
More specifically, the third thing.
Oh, yeah, the thing from the third thing that everyone loved. Well, most people, some people hated, but most everyone who was like a little kid loved. And they figured, oh, everyone's going to love this on Saturday morning, and they did.
I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
Next time, we're going to take a trip to a forest moon with some robots. And that will happen in our next episode of It Was a Thing on TV. For Mike, for Chico, and for me, Greg, we will see you with that episode next time. Wow!
Shadur Sanders still hasn't been drafted.
Oh, well.
The following day.
The Seattle Seahawks have traded the 144th pick to the Cleveland Browns. With the 144th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Shadur Sanders, quarterback, Colorado.
And now we go to me, Mike, for his reaction on the Browns drafting Shadur Sanders with the 144th pick in the 5th round of this year's NFL Draft.
I really don't want to talk about it.
Oh my God!